If you are just joining me, then you will know that I am reading double blind this month, which means that I have selected the cards and I'm reading the cards without knowing which sign I am reading for. The reason I'm doing this is because I have had some comments and emails regarding being a false and fraudulent reader, because I know which sign I'm reading for, and I was accused of trying to manipulate collective energies by knowing the signs. And that is not something that I do. So I am reading double blind to prove that I am capable of it. All right. So the card that we have pulled for this sign is, I won't put those unwanted ingredients in my food. All right. That is a great reading, or a great card to pull. I won't put those unwanted ingredients in my pod. This connects to the Aquarius reading which was the first reading that I had done, and I think it was the first reading. Aquarius was the first reading, but I think, was it? No, it was the second. It was the second reading that I did. I don't remember. Okay, I had it was Taurus. Was it Taurus? Let me just check here. I want you guys to be able to go check out that reading, because I talked about some huge metaphysical things. Sorry, it was Libra. So I talked about like magic and like the meaning of items, the medallion, and that is reflected in this reading here. For example, if we do magic and we use items, but we don't know where those items came from and whether they're spiritually clean or not, we can end up with challenges in what we manifest. So this is about spiritual sanctity and spiritual cleanliness, about what it is that we're wishing for, and how that affects our ability to manifest what it is that we desire, rather than having unwanted things also manifest for us. So the second card that we've pulled here is the bridge. And I did speak about, for just the last sign that I read for, about how Metatron sits on that bridge, Cancer. How Metatron sits on that bridge between the 3D and the 5D, and mediates the way that those quantum closures happen. And so the bridge is, the bridge can be about telepathy, and using our sixth senses, and the bridge is also how we bridge our emotional and our physical state. So it's asking us not to put ingredients that we don't want into our pie. Okay. The other cards that we have, the Ace of Wands. Beautiful card about bringing balance and moving from one side to the other side of this bridge. So we're seeing some resonance here again, and we've got the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. So this is largely about, the Seven of Pentacles in reverse is so as you shall be, right? So sometimes we take a trajectory in life, and that isn't the trajectory that we decide that we want, right? We test something out and decide it's not for us. I switch up my electric skateboard for an electric scooter and realize that I enjoy electric skateboarding more. So that I've got to sell the electric skateboard and get a new electric skateboard. We try things out and we decide that they're not for us. That is okay. That is how we experience contrast. But once we know what is unwanted, we need to let the other thing go. And we need to understand that there's consequences for every path that we take. So say in selling my electric skateboard and buying an electric scooter, and then now having to sell the electric scooter again, I'm going to lose some money. Well, that is the inevitable consequence of having tried one path and realizing that that path was not meant for us. That is okay and an inevitable aspect of life. And we have to be willing to let go of those unwanted things in order to be able to move forward. So the message for our sign is about the Magician. So we have this resonance here again with the law of attraction, attracting what it is that we want and what we don't want. We've got this Knight of Swords here, which is about running towards, well, it's not necessarily like it's running towards our getaway car here with the with the motorcycle, and some level of anxiety about doing that. So something in our life was manifested that we don't desire. We tried out a path that didn't work for us, and we now have to jump in our getaway car, leave whatever this Knight of Swords is leaving in the past, and there is some level of anxiety around doing that. Yes. But when we know what is not meant for us, then we can transmute it. Let's get a card here on the shadow aspect of this Nine of Swords. I am not wearing sunscreen, and I have now been out for a couple of hours here doing these readings, and I can feel myself getting burnt on my back. I've got half the signs to go. All right. Shadow card for this sign about this anxiety, needing to move past how do we move past the anxiety? How do we move past the anxiety? Separation. Reconnecting to your center. So there is some level of separation that needs to happen, and that separation is just what is required in order for, like, there's anxiety around this separation. However, like, that's what needs to happen when we don't want to put the unwanted ingredients in our pie. Imagine yourself as a chef in an extremely well-stocked kitchen where there are many ingredients that are not appropriate for your creation, but you feel no discomfort about their existence. You simply utilize the ingredients that will enhance your creation, and you leave the ingredients that are not appropriate for your creation out of your pie. And that's it. Card number 36, so working with the energy of the nines, working with the Merkaba. So really working through this energy above the solar plexus. We have, before we get to the heart center, that is the location of the Merkaba. It's not at the navel center, and it's not at the heart center. It's at the bridge between. It's the center of our breath. So working with the Merkaba energy here, you can see that there is like a partial Merkaba here, but it is not fully formed yet. So this is about letting go of the things that no longer serve us to move back into that quantum state to allow for the manifestation that we do desire to happen. We've got the Sun card here. We've got the Hierophant. illuminating structures, illuminating sacred knowledge, illuminating the law, spiritual or otherwise, death and the Five of Pentacles. Transforming a situation where there was a significant lack of resources, being left out in the cold, feeling left out in the cold. All right, well, let's see what sign I was reading for. I was reading for Scorpio. All right, Scorpio, this is your new moon, right? So this makes this a very extra special and extra potent reading for you. So I really do want you to consider here the Hierophant is like, we can have false logic and false wisdom and false ideas that we believe to be true. And so these three cards here are asking you to put an end, like let the sun illuminate these false beliefs that you have so that they can die and transform, and then transform this Five of Pentacles situation, being left out, being excluded, not having enough. And that happens by letting go of the situations that are not for us, considering what we've grown from what we've planted, and reconnecting with that rainbow bridge. All right, Scorpio, I hope you enjoy your new moon. Really wishing you all the best, because this is a very powerful and potent new moon for you if you are a sun sign Scorpio, or if you are a moon sign Scorpio, because it is happening at essentially the 28th, at the very last degrees of your sign. So very important to spend the time creating considering the path that you want to move forward with, and working with those energies. I suggest you make a plan for working with those energies, not only over the next month, setting the intentions over the next month, but how you're going to implement those in the year and a half ahead. And that will allow you to get the most from this rainbow bridge that is there for you. All right, moving on to our next sign. If you're just joining me, welcome in. I am reading double blind this month because I had some email criticism saying that I was a false reader and a false prophet and all of that, which I know to be untrue. So, I think these go this way. If they turn up upside down, I will flip them around, but I think this is the way that they tended to come out. We'll just have a look at that. I think this might be a very dynamic reading because all the other signs, I've just pulled the cards out and intuitively known which way they went. So for this sign, there is some level of like, what's upright, what's not. And I think that might be reflected in the reading, which is, again, what we've got here about what is true. So this card that we're picking, that we've got here as, our major sign for our major intention setting point. But whose truth is the true truth? Whose truth is the true truth? There is a universal truth, but largely we do not have access to it, right? Because everything is filtered through our own subjective reality. We don't have access to the objective reality, only God does. the empty room. Okay, so what this new moon is asking us to do is to empty our thoughts, which includes our own truths, right? In a way, it's asking us to give something up, to completely give it up. And the reason why we have to give that thing up is because the external, the 3D and the 5D are at odds with each other. Essentially what I was saying, like, which way is the right way up on these cards when I laid them down. And I've had no problems with any of the other signs that I've read. So the external reality is not mirroring the internal reality, and the internal reality is not mirroring the external reality for the sign that I'm reading for. And the reason is because, of 2D consciousness here that is not being able to move to a third dimensional perspective where we move beyond good and bad, dark and light, sacred and karmic. And so, yeah, that is the challenge here. So we need to empty our room and start afresh, essentially. Okay, let's dig in a little deeper. The Page of Pentacles and the Five of Cups in reverse. So the Five of Cups is about really, really broken emotions, right? Shattered emotions. And the Page of Cups is about stabilizing something in, right? It's the start of grounding something. So what we want to ground in here is something that doesn't come from these shattered emotions. And in order to do that, you need to empty the room so that the magic that you're using doesn't come from the shattered emotions. Let's read this card. It says, with enough attention to anything, the essence of what you've been giving thought to will eventually become a physical manifestation. And then, as others give attention to it, they help it expand. In time, this manifestation, whether wanted or not, is called truth. Deliberate creation is about deliberately choosing those experiences you make your truths. Okay, so the challenge here to emptying the room, see if we can get one card. If we have to take two, I will take two, but let's see if we can get one card here. Oh, and this is the one. This is the one. Okay. So, the card is surrender. Let your soul wisdom lead the way. No, do you want my number? Yeah. Yeah. See if I've got a pen in here. Oh. Do you have your phone?
Oh, yeah. You can declare them. And your name?
Riley.
Right. Thank you.
No worries.
Come
Okay. Okay, so surrender. The surrender card here is, yes. So we have to be able to surrender this idea of whose truth, my truth, their truth, what truth, and move into this empty room, because what we're manifesting right now is we don't want to be manifesting from broken emotions. And but the challenge here is surrendering. So the challenge is surrendering our truth and getting beyond our truth in the situation. Now, the situation is Two of Wands, not making some sort of decision, how we set ourselves apart, and the High Priestess. The Two of Wands is this or that thinking, not knowing which way to go, and this or that thinking. So it is about giving up this or that thinking to allow us to jump on this chariot and get into our High Priestess position. Okay, what else can we say for the viewer? We've got illumination, question mark. What is the challenge card here? It's the Four of Cups in reverse. The Four of Cups is the hand of God giving us what we need to fill our cup, and us not accepting that cup, right? It's like this feeling of discontentment with where we're at, and hence not allowing ourselves to be emotionally fulfilled by what is happening. Okay, we've got the Three of Wands and the Knight of Wands. The Three of Wands is a card of transforming into some place of truth and vision for the future. It's about transforming into a vision of truth for the future. And the Knight of Wands is about starting that transformation. No, it's about carrying that transformation over into the Queen of Wands so that it becomes embodied in the self. We've got the Four of Cups and the Five of Cups here, so I'm just going to pull a couple of other... It's been a difficult situation, clearly, for our collective here. Very much a mental prison. But the way through is to let go and surrender. We've got the Queen of Cups in reverse and the Queen of Swords in reverse. You know, it's about emotional baggage. It's about emotional hurts and wounds that lead to a lack of clarity. It's all this water stuff that is coming up for, we have to get into a place where we're able to empty our emotions and reset our emotions. So I am feeling for this collective, if you are able to, like, one of the things that I love doing is like playing in the waves, big waves. Sometimes I'll go out for a surf, but other times I will just like bob around and like let the waves smash on my head. And for me, that very much allows me to break up those emotional patterns that are causing stagnation. And so that is a practice that I am suggesting for this collective. Like, if you can get into water and allow the water to wash over you. I'm also feeling like saltwater bathing or like magnesium salt bathing will be helpful for you. A lot of ocean time. If you're able over the holidays to get away to a destination where you can be by the ocean, that's going to be super helpful for you. But look, you know, you've got this High Priestess card here. Like, you're able to embody this High Priestess energy and to set yourself apart. But it is a choice, and the choice has to come from a surrendered state of being. And it's by giving up your truth, because the High Priestess doesn't come from a subjective place. They come from an objective place. And so you have to be able to surrender your beliefs around a situation in order to allow yourself to come back up into this High Priestess energy. And I'm going to pull one more card here because I want to see what is on the other side of illumination for this collective. Because, like, there's not a lot positive in this reading. Like, it's giving you a lot of guided focus. I think this is the card. Conflict. Know what you dislike, focus on your likes. So well, conflict is on the other side of surrender. Conflict is on the other side of surrender. Let your soul wisdom lead the way. Know what you dislike. Focus on your likes. Okay, so this is about integrating the light codes. You're in the process of integrating new light codes, but you have to do it from an empty room. And when you come out of that empty room, you're gonna have a new state of spiritual evolution. That new state of spiritual evolution is going to cause conflict in your life because you have transformed. You have essentially stepped into a higher timeline. And when we step into higher timelines, a lot of times the people around us do not like it. They don't like where we're at. They don't like what has come from that. I can't say what is coming for you because I don't know whether you're going to finish this in the next month or the next 18-month period, but like the High Priestess again, it's coming. It's just a matter of how quickly you decide to do it, whether you decide to complete the journey this month or whether it takes you the next 18 months to figure it out. The High Priestess is what's on the table. It's where you're headed. It's your path. It's your destiny. But you're gonna be the one that chooses how long it takes you to get there. We are reading for Sagittarius. All right, on to our next collective. I'm just gonna grab some more water. All right, guys. whether, at least I'm starting to get a little bit of shadow here. Okay, the card that I have drawn for everybody, which I didn't draw, it came out of the deck when I was shuffling for the collective, is the Magician. We're talking about magic, we're talking about manifestation, how we use the law of attraction. And I am reading blind, which means that I don't know which sign I'm reading for. The reason that I'm reading blind is because I had some comments, emails that I was a fake reader, a fraudulent reader. We're going to read all of these in the upright. Which I am not. And so I drew the cards blind, meaning I drew the cards not knowing which signs I was drawing them for. I'm reading the cards blind, and yet I know that the messages will still connect the way that they're supposed to, because that's the way this practice works. So yeah, the comment was that I was making up readings because I knew which signs I was reading for, and if you follow my readings, you know that a lot of times I say negative things about my own sign, so I don't do that. Yeah, it's an untruth, but I thought I would stick it to the haters by reading double blind. So, the most powerful law in the universe. The most powerful law in the universe. And that law is Christ consciousness. It is that love is the highest form of vibration. What does Abraham Hicks say it is? It says, every thought vibrates, every thought radiates a signal, and every thought attracts a matching signal back. We call that process the law of attraction. The law of attraction says that which it is like onto itself is drawn. So the law of attraction being the highest law in the universe. Interesting. We have number 11 here, the portal. I might be reading a twin flame energy here. Let's just see what else comes out. We have Eros. Yep, definitely a twin flame reading for this collective. Okay, what do we have in love? Whoa, 5 of Swords reversed. 7 of Swords. Sorry, 7 of Wands reversed. Okay. A lot of fighting. A lot of conflict. You know, we're being asked to give up brutality and defensiveness. Because brutality and defensiveness calls brutality and defensiveness towards itself. I'm so interested to have a peek at who I'm reading for, which twin flame collective, which sign, but I'm not going to. This is one of the more brutal, like, it's bad. It's really bad, this 5 of Swords. This man is going to kill this mother and child. Ooh. Sorry, I just had a flashback of like a previous life with somebody that I have connections with this life. But they're in Cancer. I don't remember their ascendant. Okay. And what's interesting is I said the most powerful law in the universe, and I said that law was Christ consciousness, and we have got the love here. but they're saying it's the law of attraction. Okay. Let's, like, Queen of Cups, mothering position, judgment, reconciliation, liberation, and the Four of Swords, dark night of the soul. Coming through, healing through this dark night of the soul. Okay, well, I've got a lot of personal downloads here, but I can't really speak on those online. Okay, the Queen of Cups is the mothering energy. It is the mother. This is about being liberated from mother wounds for a lot of people here. And just resting and recovering after we heal through those mother wounds. Because we've come through a dark night of the soul. And like, okay, so is this little boy who is about to see his mother get slaughtered and then himself be slaughtered going to end up in the next life with a mother wound? Yes. The mother was not able to protect him from this man. But it's not the mom's fault here, right? What is she gonna do? She's got this guy with the sword. She can't protect this young fella. She can't. The only way that she can protect him in this situation would be to let him get slaughtered first, right? It's a brutal situation. And it's really difficult to let go of these wounds that we carry from one life into the next. But it is required because as we liberate ourselves and integrate these lessons and come through these dark nights of the soul, then we can actually use the law of attraction in a way that doesn't hinder us, because we don't have those subconscious hurts that we continue to manifest. And a lot of people are drawn into these twin flame situations. And I will do a reading next week because somebody that I read for, somebody that I watch, or another reader that I watch, was talking about monadic twin flames, and I just don't agree with what she's saying there. And she has quite a large following, so I actually do want to make a video in response to her video, and I will be posting that next week when I have a bit more time, just so everybody knows, like, anyways, what's going on in my life isn't really important, but I just have a bit of work stuff that I need to wrap up this week before I'm gonna have more free time again. And I am in the process next week of moving into my summer home. I've been staying at my best friend's house because her mother had cancer, and so she lost her nanny. She's a single mom, so I've been on nanny duties for a good long while. Okay. As we come out of this dark night of the soul, we become very independent. And we have, with the Nine of Pentacles card, and we have the ability here to investigate with the Page of Swords how the law of attraction works, right? This or that thinking. How our experiences give us the power and ability to look at what we prefer and what we don't prefer, and to allow that to be a portal for us manifesting our true desires. Okay, with this Scorpio new moon, setting their intentions. That's 2 cards. Let's just get 1. Okay. Forgiveness. Release resentment to regain balance. Okay, so yeah, I mean, forgiving our parents, forgiving things through our family line. Like for some people, it's even like, I've got my father's nose and I wish I had my mother's nose. Like forgiving through the family line, but also forgiving these deep wounds that have come from our soulmate experiences in the past, especially if we know those soulmates now and in this lifetime. That's really going to help us out here with the forgiveness card. I'm going to read from this card because I think maybe it will help some people in this collective with forgiveness. It says, it's time to forgive yourself, a person, or a situation. Something has you shackled to anger and resentment. Free yourself so you can welcome healing. Holding people, perhaps yourself, forever accountable does not right the wrongs of the past. Forgiveness doesn't pardon hurtful behavior, but it can release you from being disempowered whenever you think or talk about it. You are losing energy that can charge your desires. Reclaim this energy by changing the narrative. So again, here with this independent, self-centered energy, allowing us with the Ace of Pentacles to ground in a new world for us, which it said here, you are losing energy that can charge your desires, right? With the law of attraction card here being the most powerful law in the universe. Reclaim this energy by changing the narrative, break the pattern, and open a door to your dreams. Forgiveness will expand your awareness, vibration, love, and trust. It also graces you with choice and improves your well-being. Lighten your load so you can jump higher and breathe deeper. Okay. I hope that this message resonated. We are reading for Leo, our Leo collective, our Leos on the twin flame journey. I will see you in the, I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to drop a couple of videos about the Twin Flame Collective, and I am a Leo and I am on a twin flame journey, and so I do have something to say about it. Was Magnetize Yourself who put out the Infinity, who put out the video on monadic twin flames, and I really don't agree with that. I don't really agree with the interpretation that she has about the twin flames. So just a short summary here for our Leos that I might also be reading for. The twin flame journey, our soulmates are our soulmates, and they're people from past lives that we have a soul journey with, a soul mission with, here and now. Our twin flames are different, and our twin flames, but those twin flames don't manifest in one person. So I've been on a twin flame, like it's when our energy signature resonates with another's energy signature, and we're doing the same energetic work, and it's mirroring between you. So I've had twin flame experiences with my business partner. I've had twin flame experiences with my ex-husband. I've had twin flame experiences with my ex-partner. And while we're resonating at that level and that frequency, we are in a twin flame journey. We choose to become twin flames so that we can have those experiences, and we're not, when we're balanced in ourselves, we're not actually part of a twin flame journey. Like, we come back to ourselves, and being whole in ourselves and self-reliant. So I'll put out a longer explanation of that twin flame. And then we just live in community with our soulmates, doing soulmate things. But when we're a part of that twin flame journey, we are very much using the other, resonating with the other, not mirroring. That's a karmic soulmate. When we're mirroring the other, that is a karmic situation. Anyways, I'll explain it more in another video because, I had a big walk the other day listening to this idea of monadic twin flames, and I just don't agree with what she's saying about the way that journey manifests. And not that she's right or I'm right and she's wrong. It's like all just ways of interpreting things, and I'd like to offer my interpretation up because I only knew that I was a twin flame. I knew that I had past lives with my previous partners. For 11 years I've known that. For 11 years I've known that. For 11 years my partners have all been partners from past lives, and I know how we were partners. Like, I get the downloads, I have access to the Akashic records. So but I didn't know I was part of the Twin Flame Healing Collective for that until 2 years ago. And it was during that period of separation with my twin at that time that allowed me to realize what the twin flame journey was. And so not all, all of my past partners for the last 11 years have soulmates. Not all of them have been twin flames. Some of them have been karmic twins. But I'll get into all of that in a deeper reading. All right. New read, new sign, new energy. Okay. I can gradually change my vibrational frequency. I can gradually change my vibrational frequency. I can gradually change my vibrational frequency. Okay, we have a couple of cards here that have come up in reverse. So I want to take a look at the reverse cards first. We've got the 8 of Wands, which is about communication, fast-moving energy. And we have the 5 of Swords, which is a bit of a brutal card. One person winning at the expense of 2 other people. So, you know, the 8 of Wands in an upright position, like, a lot of people say that, like, that's a love letter, right? Like, writing a love letter to somebody is one way to interpret that card. So this could be about harsh words, harsh thoughts, harsh ideas, and gradually changing your vibrational frequency in that way. The card that we pulled for the entire collective here is the Magician, and so we are working on law of attraction. We have got the Prayer. So this collective is being asked to use prayer as a way of elevating their frequency. You know, God doesn't answer all of our prayers. because we don't always know how to ask for the things that we actually need. You know, a lot of the times we are praying and we're asking for things that we want, not for the things that we need. So it can feel like God's not answering our prayers. We have the Empress here, and we have the Queen of Wands. Beautiful energy. The Queen of Wands, this is about developing yourself into the Empress, right? So the Queen of Wands is connected to divine source, and therefore she's able to manifest the things that she desires. And break through glass ceilings and put herself on the checkerboard between light and dark. This is very much about understanding spiritual lessons here for the collective that I'm reading for. All right, so this prayer, well, let's get a shadow card, and then we're going to work on taking a look at how we can create this prayer for our collective. What is the prayer? We have the wounded adult. Healing is feeling. Okay, so sometimes we have to feel into our hurts, because if we hide our hurt, then we can't process it. So taking a look at where we are wounded, so this is the card here, taking a look at where we are wounded and feeling our way into it so that we can feel through it. So the card says there's no thought that you cannot eventually have, just as there is no place that you cannot eventually reach from wherever you are. But you cannot instantly jump to a thought that has a vibrational frequency very different from the thoughts you are usually thinking. One way to move to a new energetic state is through exercise, and to very physically work through those work through those like feelings that have manifested themselves as like embedded traumas and embedded triggers. We've got here the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is the ultimate wish fulfillment card. It is a card that, it's everything. It's our Make-A-Wish card. And what we are wishing for here is some sort of proposal that comes from a sense of clarity and groundedness. This Queen of Swords is like so much at peace with her thoughts. She's so like grounded and stabilized and very much like she doesn't look comfortable in her actual, like, looks like she's sitting on like a mattress in a very awkward position. But even though she's not in a state of physical comfort, she's in a state of intellectual comfort. And so once we clear out those I can change my vibrational frequency. Once we clear out those once we cleanse the element of air, we can then change our physical reality. Okay. Okay. The Eight of Wands in reverse. The Eight of Pentacles upright. The Nine of Cups upright. And the Five of Swords. Yes. Okay. So some level of like messaging and transformation and ideas. So the Eight of Wands upright is speaking what we want into existence in some way. It's the energy of that truth, if this is making any sense for the collective. When we speak vibration into the universe. And when we write those vibrations into the universe. And therefore, that is what manifests. So if we are coming from more of a manipulative energy, and that is not the typical reading of the Five of Swords, that is normally the Seven of Swords, but I very much see this card, this Five of Swords here, as like the slyness card, more of that like sneaky, devilish, manipulative, like testing out manipulations. Like these characters are masked, and that's why I'm saying that. It's essentially about practicing dark magic here. And the Eight of Pentacles is working on a wish, working towards a wish. But not coming at it from the right way, right? It's like practicing dark magic to get what we want, rather than using, and that coming from a wounded place in that, rather than using prayer to elevate us through our woundedness. See if I can get a couple more messages here for this collective on how they can move through this that I'm reading for, because the Four of Pentacles is only going to take us part of the way. The Four of Pentacles is like the lower vibrational frequency of the Ten of Pentacles, which is the ultimate happiness. So yes, holding on to a King of Cups can help us in the short term, but we need to be able to create that emotional stability in ourselves, and to have this external emotional stability projected from ourselves, from our self-center here. So I do see this as being like helpful and hindering. With the prayer card, it could mean like holding on to a pastor, holding on to a father figure, and none of that is helping this collective grow, surrender, and to heal the wounded adult. So the ultimate happiness and ultimate fulfillment here is available for this collective, if they surrender this dark magic, which is the grounds of what they're trying to achieve, and if they redirect their prayers to some level of internal, with the Queen of Wands, internal sense of freedom and having everything that they want, like if you can envision it, you can have it sort of energy. And then that's going to allow you to manifest here from clarity rather than manifesting from a place of woundedness. All right, let's see which collective I was reading for. I was reading for Capricorn. Our Capricorn collective. All right, Capricorns, I very much hope you enjoyed this reading, and I will see you again on the new moon. Yeah, take this time over the next month to slowly work on healing your childhood wounds and surrendering to prayer. I do feel like this is going to take a while for you, if I'm honest. But you can gradually change your frequency. If you are just joining me, welcome. I am reading double blind this month. I had some interesting comments about the fact that I knew which signs I was reading for, therefore I was skewing messages and this and that, and I don't. I'm not. And so I just thought, well, I'll prove the naysayers wrong by reading double blind, which means that I did not know which sign I was selecting the cards for, and I do not know which sign I am reading the cards for. So this is going to be a surprise for me when I reveal your sign at the end. We start out with, I am standing on the leading edge of thought. Beautiful, beautiful way to start the reading, and this green on the back for the heart space. So standing at the leading edge is very difficult, right? I've always worked in very future oriented areas of business. So, I was involved in blockchain when it first started, and cryptocurrency, and I wrote my thesis on the intersection of quantum mechanics and general relativity. So, trying to move past string theory and rectify those challenges, very much always on the bleeding edge. And when you stand out on the edge, when you're at the edge of the wave, the people behind the wave can't see you riding it, right? And that can cause a lot of challenges because they don't understand where you're going, and they don't see how the landscape of the ocean is going to change at the end of that wave. So you're very much by yourself. It's a very solitary journey that we go on. Okay, we have some level of confusion here about contracts. We've got some confusion about what we're building here with the Three of Pentacles. One thing that I'm noticing here is that this Three of Pentacles card is, there's only one person in it. And typically in the Three of Pentacles cards, there are three people in it. So there's some level of building away from community, and that not being valuable to you. The Seven of Cups card is a card of illusion, delusion, fantasy choices. And this Seven of Cups card is very much the wine in those cups. So I'm going to say that it's very much a level of kind of some level of like intoxication, toxically building by ourselves. Maybe because these people around us aren't standing at the leading edge of thought. We've got the Forest card here. Can't see the forest for the trees. Can't see the forest for the trees. Can't smell my own shit on my knees, or what is the exact Marilyn Manson. Can't see the forest for the trees. I think it's talking about your own shit on your own knees. When we can't see the forest for the trees, it's like we've got an idea, but we don't see how all of the pieces connect into that idea. And that causing some level of like very much like an ego-based reaction on how we move forward with this idea that we're trying to manifest. We've got the Six of Pentacles, alright, these are this way. Six of Pentacles, the Tower, and Strength reversed. Alright. Six of Pentacles is about giving and taking. It can be about a card about charity. And, you know, this can be about giving and taking too much, and then therefore not having the strength to stop giving and taking. I don't know a bit about who this message is for from my collective, because I did a personal for them. Okay. So there's some level of like duality here, right? Like the forest is made up of trees. One tree is not a forest, but the cumulative thing is a forest. And the Strength card is about being able to tame our natural instincts, like instincts about fear, instincts about it's working. The Strength card is maintaining our lower chakras and getting our lower chakras into alignment. So, you know, this is really about letting the tower crumble, not giving and taking and being charitable in a way that you have been, or being charitable in a way that is propping up a false sense of security for somebody. And again, we've got this like illusion card where there's many options, but somebody is like, maybe they need to build for themselves, right? Like if we flip this around, maybe this person needs to build by themselves, which is typically not what we expect, right? We want to provide somebody with a sense of security and community, and but maybe this person needs to go out on the bleeding edge of thought. So let's pull a shadow card here for how we go about transforming this energy in the sign of Scorpio for the collective that I'm reading for. Give me a stronger sign about which card it is that I need, please. A stronger sign. Okay. Okay, there's resistance and obstacles to your flow here. And it's asking us to reflect, to examine our thoughts and feelings. So with the Forest card, we do get this idea of like breaking down and seeing all of the individuals involved. And then also piecing those individuals back to see how the forest is as a whole once they're all put back together, and seeing whether we like what's grown in that forest or not. There's a resistance here to reflection, and it says, just as all of your experiences from the time of your birth into your physical body until now have culminated in who you are, all that has ever been experienced by all that is has culminated into all that is now being experienced in the physical life on the planet Earth. Yeah, that's really reflected here with this forest card, and not being able to see the forest for the trees. So whatever sign I'm reading for, you're very much working through universal energies during this. So big thank you. We've had, who else? Aries. Aries was like really, really working through it for the collective. And I think I cried in that reading at the amount of work that Aries were doing for the collective. And you're very much acting as a supportive role, and it might even be to an Aries in your life, because I do feel like this is sort of a supportive role. Like, you're a bit removed, and so you're being a trailblazer for that Aries energy. And this might just reflect in your own birth chart, right? That this aspect that I'm reading for connects. Like, maybe you're an Aries sun and this is your moon sign, or this is your ascendant, or any one of those combinations. So we have the Nine of Wands, which is like the cage and the Three of Swords, which is like a caged heart, a cold heart. And we've got the Ace of Cups and the Four of Swords. So, like, there's some aspect here of a dark night of the soul being required. So in order to get the fountain pumping again, we need to go through a bit of a dark night of the soul. And we need to stop resisting reflection, which is examining our thoughts and feelings, right? Right now, the obstacles to your flow is that you're not going through this dark night of the soul. Needing to work through some heartbreak and some guarded position that you put up. I think for a lot of like, this has to do with community. This forest tree stuff, this is like about your community, about your workplace, about your family, and you're very much be a leader and to stand on that leading edge. But you have to break through some illusions here about how that's going to be built, like how you're going to transform the thoughts of your community. And it starts by transforming the thoughts within yourself, right? You need to move beyond this guarded position of heartbreak that you have in order to transform those thoughts and feelings for yourself, so that you can be that leader for your community and you can stand at the bleeding edge of thought. I'm just gonna flip this in the upright as well. So if we give and take into this tower, and it's got to be done, something that's done on ourselves for our community here. Because again, we see, like, when we stand at the edge, like, it's very rare for somebody to catch a wave on their own. Like, everybody's in the back together waiting to catch waves, but everybody catches that wave by themselves. So yes, we can elevate the collective. Yes, we can elevate our community, but we can't do that by bringing them with us. We have to go on the journey on our own for ourselves. We're just going to quickly go through these, and then I'm going to move on to the next sign. Like, look at what's grown, about stability, a lack of a wish, complete and utter emotional instability, not making a choice, giving and taking into no new beginning, and manifesting a difficult situation. That is what has happened here, and it's time to reverse that for this collective, and to allow yourself the opportunity to go through that dark night of the soul on your own, not with your collective, not with your people, not with your church, not with your friend group, like by yourself. And you know, like, I got the King of Pentacles there in reverse that popped out, and it means that, like, there might be some level of, like, losing money in the process. Like, maybe you need to go on a 1-month retreat and you need to take a month off work, and you're not going to be making money at that point in time. And so you have to give something up in order to go through this on your own. And maybe the people around you don't agree with it and don't want you to do it, but you're really being pulled into that direction, like, to step into that leadership role for yourself. Virgo. All right, Virgo. Interesting message. Virgo is my ascendant sign, so I'm gonna have to, when I'm changing, I don't actually think about what I'm saying. So I'm gonna have to watch this back and see how this reading connects to my own journey. All right, Virgos.